No, I've changed the key over. Oh, there it
go.
goes!
Okay.
See, it's working. Look, I did the pointing.
You did the pointing, yes.
Okay, now I'm not going to watch
awesome.
myself on this delayed stream because that will be very weird.
So, hello everybody and welcome to the Greenlight SuperShow. I'm Alex. Nice to meet you all. And this is Calvin. And we are joined with Alex from Greenlit Gaming, and we're going to try to just talk a little bit about what we're doing and why, and get you all ready for the awesome show that's happening, because it's going to be awesome. So basically, I organized this show as a dev because I felt like it was needed, basically, because it's really hard to get out there. And why are you randomly waving?
That person waved to me there, so I waved back. They put. Do you see the little head?
If you can't behave, you're fired.
I'm fired.
Okay. So basically, this is going to be a really casual hangout. We're obviously not professionals, and this is going to be all about indie devs and you guys, and learning about their games and checking out their lives and everything like that. It's going to be good. That's about all I've got. But as far as why this is needed, it's because it's really hard to get visibility.
Somebody's joining in the call. That's gonna. Oh, that's funny.
Yep, someone's joining beside me there.
No, that's okay.
Oh, it's Kat. She's more than welcome to come.
Things are going to probably be a little hectic because we've never done this before. This is the first time organizing anything, and nobody knows what's going on. Oh, it's because somebody added. No, somebody added her, so if you just close that, she doesn't even know probably that she's on.
Oh, hold on. I get it.
It's going to change as soon as you hang up.
I got it.
Yeah, that's what this first half hour is for, right? Figuring out all the bugs, getting rid of all that stuff. So.
There we go. It's fine now.
Yay. Yeah, so the half of the reason why we're having this pre-show is because we don't know what we're doing, and
no, this is
obviously. And also Moobot is misbehaving, but that is going to be the first game that you'll see is Chasm. Alright, so I'm going to talk a tiny bit about what Greenlight is. I'm sure pretty much everybody in the universe knows, but I just want to touch really quickly on it because I don't want to make any assumptions that everybody knows what it is, because this is a pretty large show at this point. Greenlight is Steam's way of getting indie developers a second chance in some ways. For getting onto Steam. A first chance for many, but if you're not something that they're 100% positive will go over well, they'll ask you to go there to try and win the community over.
That's an interesting interpretation.
That's my interpretation, and I'm an interesting person.
It's a perfectly valid interpretation. I'm just saying it's interesting.
But you can look at it a bunch of different ways, but.
Yeah, and I think that's the key. I think a lot of people do look at it in many different ways. I think what Steam uses it for is, I think you're right in a lot of ways, it's giving developers a second chance. Oftentimes developers initially apply to be on Steam and they either accept it or they're not, depending on whether Steam feels that it would fit their platform, and or if they feel there's a lot of community interest. So I think what Greenlight at its absolute basis really is Steam's way of trying to gauge community interest in a particular title or group of titles. So I think that's really what their key goal is, to see how interested their community is in a particular title. But yeah, no, it's brand new, and it's obviously continuously evolving. But yeah, and it's provided, as you said, a second chance, because the way it worked previously, as many developers would know, is if you were initially rejected from Steam, you really didn't have any recourse. You really didn't have any other avenue to get on Steam. And obviously for developers, getting on Steam is a huge deal because it provides them with a huge platform and a huge audience, bigger than any audience on a digital platform. So it's really important for developers to get on there because, if there's, it's difficult to be, financially successful on other platforms, and Steam is such a huge part of the market that it's important for devs.
Yeah, it definitely is. When our game got greenlit, it was like, wow. That means we can actually survive.
Yeah.
We don't have to do anything. We don't have to get necessarily like second jobs. Yes. Jobs that aren't making games, which is what we love to do. So it's like Yes, it's vital for. In a way, it's actually Greenlight is a way of the community supporting an entire studio in a sense, if you look at it that way. You know, even if you don't necessarily think you'd play the game that you're clicking yes to, you're supporting a studio that you like. If you wanted to, I don't know. That's the way I see it. I'm also like a super optimistic person for all eternity.
Yeah, and I think that there's, I mean, a lot of questions in relation to how games get greenlit themselves. In Valve's own words, they've often said that there are no hard and fast rules. So, so this goes for other developers out there who are interested in the process, as well as gamers, so they know, what Valve is using to determine, how games do get greenlit, and what games make it through the process. The community interest is often gauged by the number of votes, yes and no. But that's not the only thing. A lot of people focus on simply trying to amass votes, try and get more votes. Obviously, yes votes if possible on a game. That isn't the only metric that Valve uses to determine whether or not games get greenlit. Press reviews are a huge part of it, as well as crowdfunding success. So, if you have a game that was very successful on Kickstarter, recent examples, being Chasm, which is actually just about to come up. Stonehearth was as well very successful on Kickstarter. All these games that are successful on Kickstarter, if you're successful on Kickstarter, especially for large goals, it indicates that you have community support. If you're able to get 3,000 backers, that indicates that you do have community support, because those are gamers that are putting their money where their mouth is, so to speak, right? So that's a huge element to getting greenlit as well. The other side to that is performance on some of the platforms. These are all things that Valve lists in each of their Greenlight badges, just to help people understand. And obviously, there's awards. When people when gamers are awarded at the various video game shows, those are taken into consideration. So yeah, there's no hard and fast rules to getting greenlit. But if you want to. If you want to kind of make your best approach to it, what you really want to do is make sure that you're engaging your community, and that you're trying to encourage people to share your content and enjoy your game, and obviously back yourself back on Kickstarter and generate votes, because these are all important metrics that Valve uses.
Yeah, they are. They are. You yourself have a website that you use to kind of help games on Greenlight in a sense. I mean. It's Greenlit Gamers, so Greenlit Gaming. Sorry.
Greenlit Gaming. Yeah, I know it's confusing. Yeah, there's a lot of it's funny the way that works. But yeah, so Greenlit Gaming is basically a site that's dedicated to the games of Steam Greenlight and the indie community. It was basically founded on the principle that we love indie games, and we saw Steam Greenlight as a huge opportunity for indie developers. We were interested in creating a site about indie games themselves, and when we saw Steam Greenlight go up, we said, you know what, this is the time. When someone as influential as Valve and Steam get involved in the indie scene, it's huge. It's absolutely huge. And when they really, it started a couple years ago when they really started adding indie games, and you saw tons of great games entering the indie space on Greenlight. I guess it was only a matter of time before something like this happened, because there were so many indie games, and it really is impossible for them to go through them all accurately. So when Steam Greenlight came out, it was huge, and we just knew that we had to get involved, because I know I was going through the lists, and it's difficult for the average gamer. It's extremely difficult to find the top-notch titles, because there's a lot of stuff in there. They range from professional caliber, excellent titles to things that it looks like. Trolling, and there's things that look like school projects and betas and stuff like that. The quality ranges, and what's interesting though is that it's very difficult right now to tell what games are what you might like and what you might not like, because really you're gauging from a screenshot and from trailers, right, and descriptions. And there's a lot of games that the screenshots don't do them justice. One perfect example of this is actually a game you'll see today, Scapegoat. A lot of people, they just look at the screenshots. They're like, oh, this game looks neat, but I don't really get it. Yeah. And then when you play the game, when you see it in motion, you realize how brilliant the game is, how brilliant the puzzle design is. You would never know until you actually tried it and played it. The screenshots don't do it justice. And so, that's a perfect example of a game that, it's been on Greenlight for a long time, hasn't been greenlit, hasn't been getting the support it deserves. And I think that a lot of people are going to be really surprised when they see it running today, because it is an excellent game with incredible puzzle design.
Yeah. Or
So yeah, we really strive to talk about those games, and we want people to get involved in Steam Greenlight. We want people to get involved in the indie community. We want people to start voting, to start sharing, and all these things are so important, and we really want people to get involved. And so that's the complete foundation of the site.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. But that also means that you're basically the best person to tell everybody here how to properly support games they like on Greenlit.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, I always like to say that our site is the second most authoritative source on Steam Greenlight. Valve obviously being number one, but it's funny because I mean, I do have a fairly good idea of how you can help developers. I mean, I think everyone watching this show has an interest in helping developers. They have an interest in seeing games get greenlit, and so there's a whole bunch of ways you can help. Obviously, one is voting. Get on Greenlight and vote. Now I know that the queue is intimidating because you go in, you get 12 games, and there's about 1,400 games out there, right? So it is intimidating, but trying to get that through that queue and voting is important. And one major thing I want to stress is as a gamer, do not underestimate your influence. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of games that have been greenlit that had immense community support and not a lot of press support. And it just goes to show the amount of influence you gamers actually have on the process. And I think that individually you underestimate how much influence you have. I'll use an example. Edge of Space was a game that did receive some press. It received positive press. It's a fun game. However, it has a huge community backing. The people themselves often promoted the game. The developers extremely community centric. They basically develop based on what their community wants. It's actually a very interesting development platform or ideology, and their community got them greenlit. And it wasn't a huge community. There's games with larger communities, but their community got them greenlit because if you think about it, I'm just going to throw a rough number out there. If a game on Greenlight does not get any traffic whatsoever, and essentially is just relying on the traffic that is native to Steam itself and people going through their queues, they can expect, on average, completely rough, about 100 votes a day, which is not a lot if you consider the number of votes that typically need to get greenlit, which can be in the higher tens of thousands. So 100 a day or 100, 150 a day is not a lot. It is still valuable information, but it's not a lot. One of you guys, if you guys share if you see a game that you love, so if you see Legend Dungeon and you love the game, and you're like, what, I want people to vote for this game. I want to see this game get greenlit. If you share that to your Facebook friend list, the average Facebook friend list can range anywhere from 250 to 900 to 1,000 people. Okay, so one gamer who shares that game through their Facebook friends list, all of a sudden that game gets exposure to 1,000 people. That one gamer, 1,000 people. If two people do it, all of a sudden it's 2,000, 1,500, and it just snowballs and balloons. Yeah. And that's exactly how you guys can help. Do not underestimate your influence because the actual platform itself cannot fully. It can't greenlight a game on its own. It needs community support. Oh, yeah. And so you guys as gamers have huge influence on that. Your comments, tweeting, all that stuff has a huge impact. You'd be surprised how huge your impact would be.
Yeah, we rely on it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
100%. I mean, as developers, I think you guys can speak to this, how important the community support is in getting a game greenlit. But one thing I also want to mention, and it was actually on the Penny Arcade Report, a great article about it by Ben. He was speaking about how one way to help support developers is by purchasing the games on their sites. I mean, a lot of people don't even realize this, that a lot of developers on Greenlight, the games are actually complete. There's several games on the Greenlight show today that are complete. Games like Cider Arcade, as I said before, Scapegoat's complete. There's a lot of games that are complete, and you can buy those games right now. And when you buy those games, they often come with the promise that when they get greenlit, you will get a complimentary Steam key. So the advantage to that is not only are you getting the game and you're getting to play it now, you're getting the Steam key when the game gets greenlit, but also you're supporting the developer in a huge way. For instance, Cider Arcade is an $8 title. It's worth every penny. When you buy from their website, they get the entire sale. When you buy something from Humble Store, they only take a 5% commission.
It's amazing.
That's a great value for a developer. Other platforms will have varying levels of commission paid. So, when you buy a game from a developer's store, you are supporting them a great deal. And that small purchase, it might not seem significant to you, but that can be the difference between them being able to develop a game full time and then having to develop it in the wee hours of the night after they get home from work. So, I don't know if you guys want to speak to that, because I think it's huge. I think that the ability to support a developer from their site, because there are so many games on Greenlight you could be playing right now. Right now you can be playing them. You can be playing them and you can be pre-purchasing them, you can be playing them in beta, you can be playing full versions, right? There's tons of games on Greenlight that you guys can be playing right now, and all you have to do is get them from the game site. And as I said before, they'll give you the Steam key, they'll give you the Distiller key, they'll give you everything you need.
Yeah. Steam is actually really good about that. We talked to them a little bit, and you can basically have as many Steam keys as you want as a developer to distribute to other platforms. They don't charge you for them or anything. There's no limitations. So there's no reason why an indie developer wouldn't give you a Steam key after their game's been greenlit.
And actually, you bring up a great point as well. I think, the Greenlight process has been frustrating for a lot of developers, and a lot of gamers are antsy to get their hands on some of these games. And I think that in a lot of ways, Valve has received some bad press. They have been extremely supportive of a lot of developers. They have, I believe that they are sincerely trying to make a difference, trying to support indie developers. The Greenlight process exists because there are, they've stated there are technical limitations in their system. They can't just release any game that they want. But in ways like this, where they allow developers to, basically give out Steam keys as they desire, that's ways that they support developers. The fact that you can buy a game from the developer's homepage and get a Steam key after, and the developer not have to be charged for it. That's a huge deal.
That's awesome.
And because if theoretically Steam could ask for their portion of the commission.
Yeah.
They could ask for it. When I buy a game on Steam, I'm actually happy that Valve's getting a cut, because our PC platform, PC gaming wouldn't be where it is without Steam, without Valve. If you guys remember, 7, 8, 9 years ago, I remember I used to get magazine subscriptions come to my door, and every article I would open, it would say PC gaming's dying. The original Xbox, and it's with its 600 megahertz processor is going to completely destroy PC gaming. It's all we ever saw, right? And now all of a sudden, the tables have turned, and PC gaming is a huge, huge platform, and Valve's an incredible part of that. So. And obviously, Steam Greenlight will continue to evolve over time. It's still in its infancy. We forget that it's still in its infancy. So it's evolving, and it'll continue to improve, and it'll just get better.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's what they're promising, and that's what it seems like it's going to happen. Definitely. And it's really exciting to be a part of it, I think. And if you vote on Greenlight games, you're being a part of it too.
That's really cool.
That's kind of a cool part of it. Is you're part of a massive movement.
And it's not like voting for somebody to get into office or something like that. Your vote really, really counts. That specific vote actually matters. It adds a little tick to a chart, and it makes a point. And Valve sees that point. That's cool.
Yeah, but another thing that Alex was saying, which is really important, is that they don't just look at votes. So if you actually want to support a game on Steam, the ways to do it, there's a bunch. I sat down and I was like, well, what do we encourage? What did we encourage for people on our Greenlight page? And it was if people put a comment down on the page, that was really good. People interacting in our forum-y thing that they give you, that was really good.
These are things that Valve notices.
Following, every single button that you can click on the Greenlight page, click it if you want to support the game. Because we would literally every night I would look at the Greenlight page because I was obsessed. It's oh come on, what are we at today? How many votes happened? All that kind of stuff. And it would be, oh look, we got this many more followers, this many more people, are doing this, and that's a really good vote for us, because if somebody is a follower, that means they actually care about our content more than just one click, and I think Valve knows that.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it goes back down to every gamer that's listening to this right now, please do not underestimate your impact on the process. Your individual impact on the process is more significant than you may realize. That's something that I hope, and all the talking I've done, which has been excessive, and I know I talk way too much, but if that's anything you can take from everything I've said, it's you actually matter. Your influence on the entire process is key. So please share the games, vote for the games, talk to your friends about it. Use the Steam community features. Put it in your feed. Stuff like that. It really makes a difference.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, and one thing you spoke about, Alex, is comments, right? If you download a game or if you upload a game, tell them why. Tell them why you're excited about it. A lot of people use comments to gauge their interest in the game, to learn more about a game itself. Just putting "do not want" does not help a developer who is trying to improve their title, because a lot of these games are in alpha stages, are in beta stages, and the information and the feedback they get from Greenlight is essential to their development.
Oh yeah.
So if you see something you don't like, tell them why. Yeah, I think you guys can speak to that.
We have drastically changed and hugely improved the visual style in Legend of Dungeon just because of one user's comment. They said, hey, these pixel aspect ratios here in the dungeon tiles to the character tiles are off.
And that was something
and
that
I'm
we
not going to buy the
accidentally
game because of that. Because it doesn't look good enough. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you know what? You're right. And I told him that, and we changed it. We want to make our games good.
Yeah,
we
love
our games.
All indie devs. I don't know why you'd make games if you didn't love them.
And if you can say, look, this could be better by just this much. Okay, the vast majority of the time, we'll get comments on how to change something, and we're like, no, that's not a good idea.
Yeah,
but I want to hear those too, because I don't know what is what. I need to process it. I need to see it, and your comments and suggestions are massively, impossibly important to us.
Yeah.
So.
And not only that, a lot of times it can be really discouraging for developers when they're on Steam. So a positive comment is not just a comment to Valve, it's a comment to the developer.
It can make our day.
It can, yeah, it can. It really can. It can change the way you feel about your game and the day. So you don't want to hold back on praise or criticism. That's what I think, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, it comes right back down to do not underestimate your influence.
Mm-hmm.
This process, the entire Greenlight process, guys, is about gamers getting involved. It's the community. Indie developers can't get their games greenlit themselves. And you know what? Honestly, however many people are in this, 300 people that are watching this right now, you yourselves have more media influence than any site. You yourself, if you guys all go to a Steam page right now and you all share it, you have more of an influence than any site, IGN, Kotaku, any site. Gamers themselves, you guys have the power, honestly. The Steam Greenlight process is about you guys. It really is. It's about you guys getting involved and making a difference in the way games are added to Steam. So honestly, do it, guys. Share the games, talk about them. I'm telling you, you guys have more influence than you realize. And I'm not going to say that again because I know I've said it a million times, but you guys have the power, seriously.
Yeah. I completely, totally agree.
Yeah, and
also, see how professional we are. We've got everything.
That was my dad calling. Sorry about that.
So, yeah, this show is not going to be professional here.
No,
we're just
good.
We're just going to be hanging out and having fun. That's like the whole thing.
As a final touch to what Alex is saying about supporting the games on Greenlight, what I'm going to try to do during this entire show is really promote and encourage everybody to just involve themselves a little bit. There's a few different little MooBot things that I set up, so you'll see those popping up every once in a while. There's going to be one that talks about each and every game, and that gives you a link right to their Steam. On the SuperShow webpage, there are all of those images are links directly to those games' Steam accounts. There's a thing that has you tweet about the show. If you like the game that we are showing at the moment, tweet about it, talk about it, literally spread the word.
Encourage other people to do so.
Because you don't have to just do one vote. Telling people affects things too. Like Alex said, a single Facebook post can reach hundreds of people. And that goes for not just friends. You can also, so long as you're not obnoxious, please don't be obnoxious. But you can also contact like the YouTubers that you like and people like that, people who are influential. And
yeah, that's actually a great point. YouTubers. there have been many YouTubers that have done a great job of promoting games. Jesse Cox has been huge. Northern Lion. These guys are guys that have been absolutely doing wonderful things for games. Indie Static as well has done a great job of promoting indie games. So if you see games that you want, tell these guys. Tell Jesse Cox you want to see him play this game. Comment on his videos. Tell him, I'd like to see this next, or, great job, I want to see this. Tell them, because at the end of the day, the YouTubers want to provide the content that their viewers want to see. And if you guys want to see more indie games, tell them. It'll make a huge difference.
Definitely.
Right.
All right. Wow, we've got 5 minutes before the first game happens.
Yes.
Right?
So you guys have been listening to us for 25 minutes. Now the actual real fun starts. You guys can actually see some of these games. You get to vote for some of these games. You get to see the gameplay. You get to listen to the devs. You get some wonderful hosting by Alex and Calvin. You guys will have a ton of fun today. Ton of fun. And I'll be in chat moderating. Behave.
Yeah.
And,
seriously.
but it'll be tons of fun. And it's going to be a great day. So you know what? Honestly, I'm just going to throw this out there. I think that you should be staying for 13 hours. I don't think you should leave. I think that you should have food delivered to you, and that you should stay at your computer and you should just watch the whole thing. Yeah. And you should be voting the entire time. That's just my opinion. You should be voting, sharing, Facebooking, and support these devs, guys. This is what it's all about. This is just a perfect example of how you guys can have a huge impact. So support these devs.
I'm crazy excited about some of the things that we're going to be showing today.
I know.
There's some sneak peeks at various things and stuff like that I haven't actually gotten a chance to see yet.
Yeah, I know.
That I know are happening. So
it should be a lot of fun.
There should be some cool stuff.
Yeah, basically, just to give you guys a really brief rundown of how the show itself is going to work. I know a lot of you watching here aren't going to be able to stay through the whole show, but hopefully a few of you guys will be able to, fill in people as they jump in to some extent, because people are just going to be coming in and coming out all the time. Oh, hey, the Pixel Prospector is here.
Yeah.
Hi, Pixel Prospector.
We
love you
so much for all the help you've done to the whole indie community.
Yeah, he's one of the reasons I can write press releases, actually. So you guys know, he's an amazing resource to indie developers.
Simon's incredible.
Yes. Yes. So basically the way the show is going to go is at the beginning of the half hour, the dev's going to come on, we're going to load up their game, and we're going to play it and talk with them, and we're going to hang out, and I can't guarantee that we'll be able to take a lot of questions from chat. It depends on the developer. I've kind of left it up to them how they want to do things, because it's their half hour. I strongly believe that. I just did all of this so that they could have this half hour, and it's theirs. So hopefully it'll go well. Odds are, since we're all indie developers, there'll be some very awkward moments where we will be very awkward. And that's about it. I'm going to disappear for 2 minutes so that I can make sure that the first guy comes up. Why don't you boys talk amongst yourselves?
Okay. Well, I just want to thank everyone for listening. And as I said before, the Steam Greenlight process really is generally about gamers getting involved. So don't be afraid to do it. I mean, today's going to be a perfect chance for you guys to really make a difference. And, it would be nice if we saw some of these games get greenlit next batch because of the influence that you guys had. So honestly, vote, share, talk about it. Tell everyone you know about these games because it'll make the world of a difference for a lot of these developers. So.
All right. So I guess can we start? We're gonna switch out. I'm gonna turn off we're gonna have a mild intermission while I get set up for the first game here.
All right. So it sounds like I'm out. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for.
Again, my name's Alex from Greenlit Gaming. So.
Go ahead.
You gotta remember the microphone can pick you up even if you can't hear what we're talking about.
I know.
We can hear you, Alex.
It's just, you're just going to be moving things around on the screen for a bit.
Okay.
Not, turning the channel off.
Thank you so much for showing up.
If you guys are interested in, the games of Steam Greenlight and you want to learn more about them and, come check us out at greenlightgaming.com. Follow us on Facebook. We're on Twitter as well. We talk about the games of Greenlight and we will talk about what you guys want to hear. So definitely check us out if you're interested in that. But honestly, guys, vote, enjoy the show, and have a lot of fun.
I can't hear anything all of a sudden.
Hold on,